Well, hey everyone, once again, welcome to your weekly Life Group Leader training video. We're so excited for this new year and looking forward to Sunday. And as we get ready, I want you to know that we're entering a new series this Sunday, looking through the book of Genesis. So this Sunday, January 6th, we're going to be looking at Genesis chapter 1. So if you have some time, go ahead and stop this video. If you haven't had a chance to read Genesis chapter 1 yet, as always, we want to encourage you to spend some time with that passage and with the Lord, and then return to this video and get ready to lead your group. Well, I'm going to go ahead and apologize for some of the noise. It's a little unorthodox. I'm not working from the office this morning. I'm at Starbucks here right around Alachua. But thank you so much for your willingness to lead. And as we look at this chapter, this is a chapter of the Bible that's talked about more than most, and unfortunately talked about for a lot of the wrong reasons. Genesis chapter 1 has been the battleground for creationists to argue with evolutionists, and we go on and on and on and on. And some of those fights are worth fighting, and we do need to stand our ground in some places, but the problem is, in doing this, we've missed the main message of Genesis 1. The Genesis 1 begins the biblical narrative and begins by telling us who God is and what He does. It is a statement about God's identity. It is a statement about what God does in the world, and it's a beautiful masterpiece. Theologically, literarily speaking, it is beautiful. But what we see here, we don't see Moses trying to give us some type of scientific explanation for the creation of the world. No. What Moses is doing is telling us who God is and what He does. He tells us that God is a God who begins with a tohu vabohu. The Hebrew is tohu vabohu, which means formless void. And in the end of it, it's something that's good. And in between, God takes this formless void and He forms it, and He gives it function, and He gives it purpose, to where at the end of it all, He can call it good, and in fact, He can call it very good. And so that is the story of Genesis 1. We see the story of a God who takes chaos, who takes craziness, who takes a mess, and He forms it and shapes it and molds it into something very good. In Genesis 1, we don't really get a scientific explanation of the origins of the world, even though we do believe that God created the world and He created it from nothing. What we do get in Genesis 1 is a story of our God who orders chaos. And that's a message that's extremely important, because we live in chaos. We live it all around us. We see brokenness and disorder and disarray. And so the message that God can take those things and make them into something good is a message of hope, and it's a message that we need. It's a message that our community needs. That is the main idea of Genesis 1. And here's the beautiful thing. Genesis chapter 1 ends with the creation of mankind, and we're told that mankind is created in the image of God. Now, if we'd never read any of Scripture and all we had was Genesis chapter 1, what would that mean? To be created in the image of God? Well, what we see in Genesis chapter 1 is a God who orders chaos. So it has to mean in some way that we are created to participate in that work. That we are created to take chaos and brokenness and through the power of the Lord bring order. And so this week we want you to take your group to look at Genesis 1 from that angle, through that lens, but also to challenge them to be an ambassador for order, to be someone who takes broken things and puts them back together. This week, challenge them to identify one thing in their life that's out of order, one thing in their life that is broken, and to restore it, and to take action, to seek to bring order to our chaos. That's our main idea. That's our weekly challenge. We hope you have a great week, and we will see you soon.